your last heartbeat, darkness, and then awareness. Some people swear they've been there. Some physicists say the universe is stranger than we think. Could consciousness survive death, not as a ghost, but as a quantum phenomenon? Before any physics, let's define the question. Survive death might mean at least three different things. 1. Phenomenal continuity. There is a continuous first-person experience after biological death. 2. Pattern persistence. Something like your information remains and could, in principle, be reconstructed. 3. Metaphysical survival. Consciousness is a fundamental feature of reality, only briefly expressed by brains. We'll explore all three and separate science, informed speculation, and philosophy as we go. You've heard the story. In the double-slit experiment, particles act like waves until someone looks. Therefore, consciousness collapses reality. It's a great story. It's also misleading. Modern quantum theory explains collapse through measurement as physical interaction and decoherence, not human awareness. Any device that records which path a particle takes will destroy interference, whether or not a person ever looks at the data. Consciousness isn't required by the math or the experiments. 2 influential neuroscientific frameworks. Global Neuronal Workspace, GNW-GWT. Consciousness ignites when information becomes globally available across frontoparietal networks. Integrated Information Theory, IIT. Consciousness is identical to a system's causal, informational structure. More integration, more experience. Controversial and evolving. On these views, when the brain irreversibly fails, conscious experience ends. That's our baseline to compare with quantum proposals. Physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff propose orchestrated objective reduction Orch-OR. Quantum states in neuronal microtubules undergo gravity-related objective reductions, generating discrete moments of consciousness, potentially linking mind to space-time's fundamental structure. Explains unity of experience and aesthetic effects, maybe free will. Main critique: warm, wet brains should decaviar too fast for useful quantum computation. Tegmark's calculation is the classic challenge. Bottom line, Orch-OR is bold and still unproven. Its strongest parts are test proposals, not confirmations. Another idea. Matthew Fisher argues that phosphorus nuclear spins, possibly protected inside Posner molecules, might maintain long quantum coherence, giving the brain qubit-like resources. It's a mechanism in search of evidence, but it suggests where to look experimentally. Quantum effects can persist in biology, for example, avian magnetoreception via radical pairs. Quantum coherence hints in photosynthesis, so warm and wet isn't an automatic deal-breaker, though consciousness is a far taller claim. Large studies report vivid experiences during or after cardiac arrest, out-of-body, tunnels, life review. The AWARE projects gathered such reports during resuscitation. Results show experiences occur, but veridical perception evidence is sparse and debated. Neurophysiology adds a twist. Animal and human data show brief surges of organized gamma band activity in the dying brain, sometimes in hot zones linked to conscious processing. This could help explain vivid experience without invoking consciousness after death, though it doesn't settle the question. Alternative clinical accounts: hypoxia, REM intrusion, ketamine-like states can reproduce many features of NDEs. The presence of brain activity near death complicates simple "the brain was off" narratives. Separate from brains. Theoretical physics hints that information sits at the foundations of spacetime. In holography, entanglement seems to glue spacetime together, and cutting entanglement can tear space in thought experiment. This doesn't imply yourself survives, but it tempts a view where experience is tied to deep informational structure. Philosophical cousins. Panpsychism. Consciousness-like properties are ubiquitous, fundamental. Your mind is a complex expression of it. Not a physics theory, but a live position in philosophy of mind. You'll hear about quantum immortality in many worlds. There's always a branch where you survive, so subjectively, you never die. It's a philosophical exploration of probability and identity, not an empirical claim, and it absolutely must not guide real-world behavior. Treat it like a paradox, not a plan. So, does consciousness survive death? Strong scientific claim, no verified evidence. NDE data increasingly show brain dynamics near death that could support extraordinary experiences before brain failure is complete. Pattern persistence. Information about you certainly persists. Memories and others. Records and physical traces. Whether a self could be reconstructed is a separate, thorny problem. Metaphysical survival. Ideas linking mind to quantum foundations, Posner, spin, panpsychism, is interesting but unproven. If you want a conservative take, when the brain goes, experience goes. If you want a daring one, mind might be a special pattern in quantum reality, and patterns can, in principle, reappear. The evidence today favors the conservative view, while leaving the door ajar for new physics. What would count as evidence for survival? And would you want it to be true? Tell me in the comments. I'll pin thoughtful replies for a follow-up.